Welcome to episode 4, not episode 5, like I tweeted last night. My apologies on that. Episode 4 of Big Money Talks. I am Big Money Drew Nicholas, and interesting week in WWE. Um, I didn't watch the shows live this week because I had a very, very insane college student week. Multiple tests this week and big essay to be done. Lots of lots of stuff in my fake life. Real life is wrestling, however, isn't it? Um, so today I want to brush up on what's been going on Raw and SmackDown from YouTube, which is what I ended up watching this week. I actually did not get the time to watch Talking Smack before hitting start broadcast on this, so I don't know what happened on Talking Smack. Um, yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Brooklyn, New York. That's where I live, but I'm sure if anyone knows me, they'd probably know that by now. Um, by the way, before I really get into it, I just want to put out a note to anyone who may know me personally outside of my internet life. If you happen to stumble upon this somehow, don't tell me that you've seen this. Don't tell me that you know my Twitter. Don't tell me anything because I will just be extremely weirded out by it all. I like being private. So if you know me from work, if you're a family member of mine, just do me a favor and don't even mention that you've heard this podcast or seen my Twitter account. Please, just don't. Just don't do it. Um, Not to say that I am, ashamed of this. I'm certainly not ashamed of it, but I am human and I do have, your regular anxieties and whatnot. So I just don't want to have over my head when I start these every week. Oh, this person could be listening, and that person could be listening, you know? So that, I just don't need that stuff. Anyway, so I want to talk about Raw and SmackDown from this week. The stuff that I watched on the YouTube. And then I want to end this podcast by talking about what kind of turned me around on Jinder Mahal. Now, if you remember last week, I talked about not getting it and really just puzzled by why WWE would just all of a sudden make a complete, you know, nothing jobber into the number one contender for technically what is right now the top title in WWE. It might not feel that way, but Brock and the Universal title are nowhere to be found. So basically, the WWE Championship is the championship that we see on TV every week that is held to high standard as the Universal Championship. So, yeah. Um, I'll tell you a little story at the end of this podcast about how I kind of flipped over to okay, let's see where this goes. But the first thing that I want to talk about is also something that I mentioned last week. Braun Strowman. Now, Braun Strowman has been booked incredibly in the past month since WrestleMania, and has been actually a month because this would be the fourth episode, so it has been exactly a month. So last week I said the crucial words: they cannot do wrong by him. Unfortunately, it seems they didn't listen to me. Yeah, so, I mean, well, spoiler, Braun Strowman lost. And the way that he lost was very weird. Yes, they have done it before with Big Show, where, he had a table match with I don't remember who, and he was on the apron outside the ring and was knocked off, and his foot went through the table, and that ended the match because you have to go through a table. So this was like playing off of that again, where Kalisto, just with a drop kick, he tumbles off the apron into the dumpster, match is over, Kalisto wins. What? I found out about this on Monday, so it's not like I just found out about it today. Because I did get home kind of late from work, and I pretty much just, I got on Twitter really quickly, and I found out that Braun Strowman lost to Kalisto in a dumpster match. That was just odd to me. Didn't make any sense at all. So what we see now is Braun gets angry. He starts throwing Kalisto around. He throws him into the dumpster, pushes up the ramp. And honestly, what it was that saved the whole segment for me was him walking off stage to the back, and people start booing. It's like, oh, he's not going. Oh, wait a minute! He just runs back out and pushes the dumpster off the stage. That was funny, and I really enjoyed that part of it. But what I actually tweeted on Monday night, and I tweeted this to Fightful.com's Alex Palowski, who I would call a friend. A little history between me and Alex. I, for a while, about actually like 6 or 7 months, maybe a little bit longer than that, I did the main event, WWE's main event review on Cage Side Seats, and had to stop because I did not have Hulu any longer. So a little while later, Alex came on and started reviewing in his very unique way of reviewing, and I approve of that because I actually enjoy his reviews. They're if you haven't checked those out, those are really, really great reviews. Both his Cage Side main event ones and his Fightful reviews as well. Yeah, so I tweeted out to Alex that I felt that they should have reversed the order of what they did with Braun in order to sell Payback this Sunday, which I, funny enough, forgot until this morning that Payback was this Sunday. So basically, what I feel like they should have done was they should have had the dumpster match be the first thing coming out of WrestleMania. How they do it, how they get to it, who he faces, I don't know. That's not my point. My point is dumpstone match should have been first. Maybe Roman, after all, like Roman could have, you know, Superman punched him or something into the dumpster to win the match, in which then Braun goes crazy and wrecks house and everything. So I feel like that should have been done first. Then they do um the oh boy, I forgot actually what they did. Well, my point is what they did second, they do second. And what they did on first, the ambulance flipping, they should have done this past Monday to sell the pay-per-view. I feel like selling the pay-per-view on an ambulance flip is a lot better than selling the pay-per-view on a fluke dumpster match. That's just me. I feel that way. Alex agreed when I tweeted it out, and I'm sure other people agree. You can say in the comments or in the live chat if you happen to come in before I end, whether or not you agree with that. But I really just feel like it should have been the ambulance match, or not match, but the ambulance flipping should have been the last thing that you see going into the pay-per-view on Sunday, Payback. So yeah, so I don't know. Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like that would have been the better thing to do. And yeah, so what else we have? Oh, Balor. Yeah, so Balor and the club fought on Monday, and I don't know why they did it so. It just did it so randomly. It didn't make sense to me. They mentioned the history very briefly in the beginning when Balor was coming out after Kurt Angle introduced him. They mentioned very briefly the history between Balor and the club, pretty much basically just saying, "Oh, this is not Japan anymore." That's not really what I would be looking for. But okay, they mentioned Japan at least. I wish they did a lot more than that, but they did something. What the heck is Rollins' new finisher? That's kind of weird, right? Like, it's just a knee shot to the face, and I don't know if that's a great idea, considering it's Seth Rollins and knees. A, because of his knee, and B, because of what he's done with his knee, aka John Cena's nose. I'm not sure that is a great thing. So hopefully they change that. I kind of feel like why didn't you just bring back the curb stomp? It doesn't even make sense. Like, they just took it away. And yeah, I understand the concussion issue, whatever. But so many, you can get a concussion with any move almost. I mean, a DDT, your head could hit the mat, and you get a concussion from that. A DDT, you get a concussion from, if if you're not careful, of course. Um, so I don't know. I some if they can't bring the curbside bank, they got to do something, because the knee strike as a finisher, or whatever the heck that was strange, and I don't get that. What I do think, though, I want to talk about really quickly, they've been doing right by the Drifter so far. I like just having him strumming his guitar behind talking segments in the back. I think that's a cool way to kind of introduce him, considering his character in NXT. So I didn't really see him in NXT that much, but it makes for an interesting moment when you just see this guy strumming a guitar walking around in the background randomly. Um, so yeah, so that interests me. So far, they're doing right by the Drifter. So far, um, what's not being done right, however, on Raw just doesn't appreciate the Miz the way that SmackDown appreciates the Miz, and that makes me sad because I really wish now that they didn't move um, Miz to Raw, because he kind of is just been getting geeked out the past 2 weeks. Just getting hit with a finisher, and then last week he had a 2-on-1 match, and only at the end Bray came out, and then he ended up getting a Sister Abigail anyway. So yeah, so I'm not really getting that, and that makes me sad because I really love Miz, and um yeah, I hope that they make him a bigger deal, because he was a huge deal on SmackDown. So hopefully they do something about that. Um, I think that was pretty much it from what I wanted to say about Raw, uh, because nothing else is really interesting. I'm happy, for the Hardys still. Matt Hardy won. Uh, and then Payback this Sunday. The Raw, well, it's a Raw pay-per-view. Um, so quickly going through what the matches are going to be. I'll just get this out of the way now, and then we can talk about SmackDown. Seth Rollins is going to face Samoa Joe. I don't really care about that right now because they already are making it weird. Like, I'm happy that Seth Rollins is starting to actually be a real babyface, but this program, I just don't get it right now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Alexa Bliss is going to face Bayley for the Raw Women's Championship. And hopefully Alexa wins, because I really don't care about anybody else right now. Alexa is just amazing. When Sasha eventually turns heel, she'll be amazing too. Because she's just better as a heel. And right now, I don't really like her face character. We've got the Raw Tag Team Champions. They'll be facing whoever. Let me see. They'll be facing. Who are they? Oh, they'll be facing Cesaro and Sheamus, right? I'm sorry. That's gonna be interesting. I don't think the Hardys are gonna lose. but Sheamus showed some like real babyface-ness after the match with Matt on Monday. So maybe they're gonna tease that, or maybe they're like psyching us out, and then they're gonna like go heel because Cesaro was actually acting pretty heelish last night. Uh, last night on Monday. Um, so I don't know what they're gonna do with that. Plus, the rumors are that the broken characters are coming, and I don't know if the broken characters would be a babyface or a heel. Uh, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I think my guess is that the Hardys are going to win. Jericho versus Owens is going to happen. Owens cannot lose, and he probably won't because supposedly Jericho is supposed to leave for a little while and go tour with Fozzy, his band. So Owens, I always pick Owens. Sorry. No, I'm not sorry about that, actually. Owens is amazing, and what they're doing with his character on SmackDown right now is fantastic. Um, then we have Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman, in which I don't know what's going to happen here now because uh, of Braun losing the dumpster match. Um, sorry, tickle in my throat. Yeah, so I don't know what is going to happen there. My guess is that Roman is going to win because that's what happens. And maybe an added, well, not, I shouldn't say an added incentive. That's not the right thing to say because this is not an added incentive. It's a terrible thing to happen. There could be like some sympathy for his brother passing away. And what I do hope, definitely, I do hope that the crowd does not shit all over him in a mean way. They can do it in like at the beginning and then like calm down. I don't want, all the negative stuff on him right now, just for this match, especially after what happened, that the guy is in mourning and F him and all that stuff, just so, let him have the match. If he wins, boo. I'll be booing in my head. But yeah, the circumstances, with personal life and just, what they did with Braun, it makes me feel like Roman is going to win. And, I'll be upset with it, but I'll understand. And we have, of course, the Orton versus Bray Wyatt House of Horrors match, which nobody knows what that is. What is the House of Horrors match? We'll find out on Sunday. And I would like for Bray to win it back, but it seems that they're going to be doing Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. So, yeah, we'll see. And plus, boom, Jinder took the title. He stole the title on Tuesday. So, are we going to even have the title for the match on Sunday? Is he going to show up? I don't know what they're going to do with that. But let's get to SmackDown now. I'll touch up on it quickly because I do, unfortunately, have to go sooner than I would have expected because I've been getting a phone call from somebody that needs to talk to me. So we'll brush up on it really quickly. they opened the show with Shinsuke, and then Dolph comes out, and Dolph is just awful. Like, he's really, really awful. Every facial expression that Nakamura did fit the feeling of everyone watching. Like, really, it was just to compare him to Michael Jackson that way, and then it was just bad. And then the crowd chanting what at Shinsuke Nakamura when he was talking in Japanese. What the hell? Stop it. So ridiculous. Stop with this what crap. So yeah, we'll see what happens with them. I don't know what's good. I can't. I liked Dolph a short while ago, but then they turned him heel, and he just became this douchebag character that really is a real douchebag, not like an interesting douchebag. Um, just a real douchebag. So anyway, we'll move on from that and talk about Naomi and Charlotte. Naomi faced Charlotte for the women's title, and everyone thought that Charlotte was going to win because we'll give Charlotte the history-making first Raw Women's SmackDown and Raw the Raw Women's Champion and Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, like the first person to switch brands and become champion. Thankfully, they didn't do that, and they had Natalia, Tamina, and Carmella come out and just disrupt the match and wreck house, with Ellsworth cheering on. And where was Becky is the question. I think Becky was on Talking Smack, but I'm not sure. I didn't watch it again. So I'm interested to see where that goes. My pal Andrew M. Swift, also over at Cateside Seats, he seems to think that a heel turn is coming, and he tweeted that during Talking Smack, and then they actually showed it on a crawl on the bottom, not to trust Becky. I thought that was hilarious. And he posted a picture of that on Twitter. So that was funny. But will Becky turn heel? I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about. Yeah, I've never seen her as a heel. I know she started out. No, she didn't start out as a heel, but she was a heel in NXT for a little while with Sasha Banks. So they could do something there. And then there's rumors that they're going to turn Charlotte face. I really don't know why. But so I'm interested in seeing what happens there on the SmackDown women's side. And then I want to touch up on the quick things, and then we'll get into the final thing, which is the Jinder Mahal #1 contendership. So yay Breezango. I'm happy Breezango won. My SmackDown, my Smart City. It's funny that I said that because I wanted to change the name of Smart City for a while when I was back there to SmackDown City because I didn't want to talk about Raw. Little behind the scenes conversation I'm revealing. I tried to push really hard to get the name changed to SmackDown City, to no avail, of course. But anyway, my friend Alex Briggs from there, he is very happy because he's a very big Breezango fan. And I'm happy too. I'm interested in seeing uh, how Breezango would look with the titles if they end up pulling that off. Um, yeah, hopefully they do something good there. I want to talk about Rusev. Rusev, um, pretty much threatening to leave WWE without a title shot. That's that's fantastic. Um, I think that just give him a title shot, please. Please give him a title shot. Don't want him going back home to Bulgaria. I loved Rusev, so please give him a title shot. Um, Now finally, we'll talk about Jinder Mahal. Now, last week, remember I said Jinder Mahal is uh, he was a jobber just pushed into the essentially main event status, and it was just weird. And I went into this week thinking like, how are they going to pull this off? Payback is coming. They'll probably end up making Orton win because of, because it seems like Jinder is trying to get under Orton's skin now. And boy, did he ever do that this past Tuesday when the Bollywood boys attack Orton from behind, I believe. And then they all start just pounding on him. And Jinder takes the title and runs out of the. And so what really like made me go, okay. So here it is. Here's the story. I had a friend who was absolutely insane in high school, who also had two like cheerleaders, not literal cheerleaders, but like two guys that would go around and they would just like hype him up all the time. And one specific story I can tell you was the time that the four of us were in his Nissan Altima, and it was about midnight or so, a little after midnight, and we were driving around in Brooklyn, and there's some roads in Brooklyn that have long stretches with just like traffic lights that turn green, and then you can drive for a while. So he's driving, and we're in the car, and all of a sudden he's going faster and faster and faster. And this really, I'll never forget this. Basically, we're doing 120 miles an hour in a Nissan Altima down an avenue, a big avenue. Nobody was really around, but I could just remember like the two guys hyping him up in the background and me pretty much screaming internally, probably externally also. But yeah, it was basically how Jinder left SmackDown on Tuesday. I could immediately picture my high school friends doing. And his two buddies. I could immediately picture them doing that. And he was not. He was kind of like he has some money. His parents have money at least, so I could totally see him hanging out the moonroof of a limo holding somebody's very expensive jewelry after stealing it and pretty much running away with it. It may have been a time where he even did that once. I don't know. I don't want to reveal too much, but he, yeah, this friend in high school, he was really crazy, and it's just I thought about that when I saw what Jinder did on SmackDown, so it was like, oh, actually made me like research where, like, because I haven't really like talked to him in a long time. I went on Facebook and I found his Facebook. Maybe I'll contact him. Maybe. Uh, I might be too traumatized from the car incident, and let's just say a time we went somewhere and he ended up having sex with someone, and I had to leave the room. But we're not going to get there. I don't want to go there with that. But yeah. So yeah, I had a crazy experience with him in high school. Um, yeah. So um, I've turned a new leaf, I believe is the phrase, on the Jinder story, and I want to see what happens, especially since he's now stolen the WWE Championship from Randy with a big pay-per-view match coming where the title is kind of important. So, I mean, I will just say right now, I will be upset if I just see Orton come out with the title that was stolen because without any like backstory on how he got the title back. So hopefully, they address that, and which they probably will. I mean, well, how do you come out without the title in a title match and not mention? Oh, by the way, Jinder Mahal took the title. Yeah, you have to mention that. So, um, that's pretty much it. That's my take on Raw and SmackDown Live this week. Uh, I'm happy that this week is over because I had a very stressful week. And we will be returning to Wednesday next week. Finally, Big Money Talks, Wednesday at 11 a.m. And uh, we'll see you then because I'm done. I don't have anything else to talk about. Bye for now.